Do you feel the echo of that door closing? That no that resonated deeper than you'd like to admit? The indifference that weighed like lead, leaving a void where there was once hope, a hole in your chest that feels like it will never heal? Do you recognize yourself in that place? In that labyrinth of frustration, where every attempt at connection seems to hit a cold wall of disinterest? Imagine, for just a moment, being able to transmute that pain, that agony, that feeling of being invisible into power, real palpable power emanating from within. And what if I told you that the key to awakening genuine interest, a magnetic attraction in those who previously ignored you, in those people who seemed not to even notice your existence, isn't in cheap tricks, canned lines, or shallow manipulations that only diminish you? No, brother. The key lies in a fortress you will build within yourself brick by brick, using the wisdom of ancient philosophers, men who faced empires, exiles, losses, and yet remained unshaken, masters of themselves. Get ready, because what you are about to discover over the next 30 days may not only change how others see you, but fundamentally, and this is the key shift, how you see yourself. This journey is not about changing who they want you to be. It's not about molding yourself to anyone's expectations. It's about becoming who you were born to be, unshaken, serene, and deeply desirable for your own essence, for your raw, naked truth. Before we dive into this 30-day transformation, this true expedition to the center of your personal power, it's crucial, it's vital, that you understand the rules of our educational universe, the laws that govern this training ground, and the tools that will guide us. That will be your compass and your shield. Pay attention, because this is the foundation of everything. First rule, and perhaps the most important of all, transformation is internal. The reflection is external. Understand this once and for all. Our focus, our target, our relentless goal during these 30 days will be on developing your character, your resilience, your ability to stand firm as a rock in the midst of the storm. The change in others' perception, the interest you seek so much, the attraction you want to awaken. That will be a natural result, an inevitable consequence, a reflection in the mirror of your new internal posture. It's not the primary objective, it's the bonus, got it? The prize is you becoming who you are, the rest follows. Second rule, and this demands warrior discipline, daily consistency, continuous progress. It's no use making a Herculean effort today and tomorrow go back to square one. Small actions, small reflections, but daily, every single day, are the basis of this journey. Each day is a new opportunity to practice, to observe yourself, to adjust the course. It's the constant dripping that wears away the stone, not the isolated hammer blow. Remember, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Are you ready to build that bridge day after day? Third rule, the secret of the masters. The power resides in your response. Write this down, tattoo it on your soul if necessary. You do not control external events. You do not control what so-and-so thinks, what whatchamacallit says, whether the door will open or close in your face. You do not control others' opinions, anyone's mood, or the weather outside. But you control, with absolute and unquestionable power, your reactions, your judgments, the way you choose to interpret and respond to each of these events. It is here, in this tiny space between the stimulus and your response, that your strength, your freedom, your power to shape your internal reality resides. And it is this internal reality that will, eventually, overflow. Fourth rule, the mirror of truth, immediate feedback through self-observation. Each exercise proposed, each reflection I throw at you will demand your honest and brutal self-assessment of your thoughts, your emotions, your most visceral reactions. No filters, no excuses. It's just you and yourself, in the courtroom of your conscience. And it is in this process that learning happens instantly, viscerally. You will be your own master, your own guide, learning from your own successes and most importantly from your stumbles. And what will be our tools in this endeavor? Simple, yet powerful. The first is the Clarity Notebook. A diary, a notebook, whatever you prefer. But it has to be physical, so you can feel the weight of your words, the texture of the paper. In it, you will record your thoughts, your progress, your difficulties, and apply the reflection techniques I will give you. This notebook will be your confidant, your map, your personal laboratory. Do not underestimate the power of putting on paper what haunts or inspires you. The second tool is the Oracle of Concise Wisdom, a collection of Stoic quotes and principles, short and direct phrases like arrows of lucidity for daily doses of perspective and strength. I will provide you with some, but I encourage you to seek your own, to assemble your personal oracle. These words will be your shield against discouragement, your source of inspiration in moments of doubt. Understood the rules? Ready with the tools? Because the journey starts now, and it will not be easy. There will be moments of discomfort, of confrontation with your own shadows. But I guarantee you, on the other side of this fog there is a version of you that you don't even imagine is possible. A version that doesn't need anyone's approval to feel complete. A version that attracts, not because it chases, but because it is. First, let's dive headfirst into week 1, the awakening of the inner observer. The next 7 days will be dedicated to shining a powerful spotlight inward. It's time to stop looking outward, seeking answers or culprits, and start investigating your own inner universe. You know that feeling of being carried away by emotions, like a leaf in the wind? That reactivity that makes you explode over little things or shrink back at the slightest criticism? That ends here. Our initial focus will be Rule 3. The power resides in your response. And the main tool, the clarity. Notebook. Every single day, without exception. Day 1. The mapping of pain. Today, as soon as you have a moment alone, grab your clarity notebook. I want you to relive, with brutal honesty, that last rejection, that indifference that marked you the most. Not to drown in self-pity, but to understand. Describe the situation, what happened, who was involved, and most importantly, what did you feel? Anger, sadness, shame, humiliation, fear? Write down every emotion without judgment. And then, crucial, what automatic thoughts arose in your head? I'm not good enough, no one will ever like me, I'm a failure, write it all down. This is your starting point, the ground we are going to transform. Remember self-observation. Be the scientist of your own mind. The Oracle of Concise Wisdom for today. It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. Epictetus. Reflect on this. Did the pain come from the event itself or from your interpretation of it? Think about that. Really think. That pang in your stomach, that lump in your throat. Did it come from the no itself or from the story you told yourself about what that no meant? That you are undesirable, that you are doomed to loneliness. These are the narratives we need to unearth and examine in the light of day. Pain is a signal, a messenger. What is it trying to tell you about your deepest beliefs? Write it down. Write everything down, without censorship. This is the first step to regaining control. Knowing the enemy, and the enemy often is our own uncontrolled thoughts. Indifference hurts, yes, but what really destroys us is the catastrophic interpretation we give it. What if, just what if, that indifference wasn't about you, but about the other person, about the other person's moment, about the other person's limitations? Start planting that seed of doubt about your negative certainties. The Clarity Notebook is your fertile ground for this. Day 2. The dichotomy of control in action. Today, based on what you wrote yesterday, let's apply a fundamental Stoic filter. The dichotomy of control. Take each element of the situation that caused you pain and ask yourself, was this under my total, partial, or zero control? The other person's response? Zero control. Their opinion of you? Zero control. What you said, how you behaved before the outcome? Total or partial control. Your expectations, total control. Your reaction to their response, total control. In your Clarity Notebook, make 2 columns, under my control and outside my control. Relocate the elements of the situation into these columns. You will be surprised by how much of your mental energy is spent on things you simply cannot change. The goal is to start shifting your focus and energy to what you can do. Today's Oracle. Focus on what you can control. The rest, let it flow. Seneca. How does this apply to your life now? Perhaps you've spent hours, days dwelling on why that person ignored you. That's in the outside my control column. And what is under your control, your decision to learn from the experience, to focus on your development, on how you will interact next time. Do you see the shift in power? You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the agent of your own life. This simple distinction, this clarity, is liberating. Spend a considerable amount of time on this task today. Analyze every thought, every worry. If you can't control it, acknowledge it, accept it. Not meaning to like it, but to accept that it is so, and redirect your energy. Your time and mental energy are your most precious resources. Don't waste them on the barren ground of the uncontrollable. Day 3. The Reactions Journal. Starting today and for the next few days, you will become a vigilant observer of your own reactions. Carry your clarity notebook or a small pad with you, or use phone notes if that's more practical during the day, but transcribe them to the notebook at night. Whenever you feel provoked, irritated, anxious, or notice a negative change in your mood because of something external, a comment, a look, a piece of news, anything, write down. 1. The trigger. What happened? 2. Your immediate reaction, thought, emotion, physical impulse. 3. Was there a space between the trigger and the reaction? Were you able to choose your response, or was it automatic? Be honest. Rule 4. Immediate feedback through self-observation is crucial here. Don't judge yourself, just observe. We are collecting data. The oracle for inspiration. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Our reactions begin with thoughts. What thoughts are fueling your negative reactions? You may discover patterns. Perhaps a certain type of comment always sets you off. Perhaps the feeling of being ignored in a group leads to thoughts of inadequacy. The goal is to bring the unconscious into the conscious. What operates in the shadows loses much of its power when exposed to the light of your attention. Don't try to change anything yet. Just observe and record. Be a detective of your own psyche. This data collection is fundamental for the next steps. You are mapping the terrain of your internal battles, and knowing the terrain is the first step to winning the war, or rather, to finding peace. Day 4. Challenging automatic thoughts. Take the notes from day 1 and day 3. Look at those negative automatic thoughts you identified. I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. He ignored me because I'm a loser. Now let's question them like a relentless lawyer. In the clarity notebook, for each negative thought, ask, 1. What evidence do I have that this thought is 100% true, always, in all situations? Look for facts, not feelings. 2. What evidence do I have to the contrary? Be honest, look for exceptions, moments when you were good enough, when things worked out. 3. What is an alternative and more balanced way to see this situation? If the thought is I'm a failure, an alternative could be I failed at this specific attempt, but that doesn't define me as a person. What can I learn from this? 4. What would I say to a friend who was thinking this? Often we are kinder and more rational with others than with ourselves. The goal is not to deceive yourself with toxic positivity, but to find a more realistic and less destructive perspective. It's like cleaning a pair of dirty glasses that distort your view of reality. These automatic thoughts are most of the time old mental habits, learned and not absolute truths. Challenge them, debate with them, show them who's boss in your mind. Today's oracle. Man is not disturbed by things, but by the view he takes of them. Epictetus again. See how central this is. Change the view, change the disturbance. Day 5. The practice of the conscious pause. Today, the challenge is to introduce a small space between the stimulus and your response. When you identify a trigger, using your growing self-observation skill from day 3, before reacting on autopilot, pause. Take 1, 2, 3 deep breaths. In that brief interval, which may only last a few seconds, ask yourself, what is the wisest and most helpful response here? One that aligns with the man I want to become? Perhaps the best response is to say nothing, or to shift focus, or to respond calmly instead of aggressively, or with self-pity. Record in the clarity notebook the times you managed to pause and how it changed the outcome, even if only internally. Remember Rule 3. The power resides in your response. This pause is where you reclaim that power. It is in this space that freedom happens. Without this pause, we are mere reactors, puppets of circumstances. With this pause, we become architects of our response. It may be difficult at first. The urge to react will be strong but persist. Each time you manage to pause, even if you don't immediately change the reaction, you are strengthening this muscle of consciousness. Oracle. Anger, if not restrained, is often more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Seneca. The pause helps you restrain not only anger, but all impulsive and destructive reactions. Day 6. Defining your circle of influence. Based on the dichotomy of control, Day 2, today we will visualize where your energy should be invested. Draw 3 concentric circles in your clarity notebook. The inner circle is the circle of total control. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, your values, your effort, your discipline. The middle circle is the circle of influence, things over which you don't have total control, but can influence. The quality of your work through your effort, your relationships through your communication and behavior, your environment through your choices, the health of your body through your habits. The outer circle is the circle of concern, things outside your control, the past, the distant and uncertain future, the final behavior and opinions of others, the global economy, the weather. Most of your energy and attention should be in the inner circle and strategically in the middle circle. The less energy in the outer circle, the more peace and power you will have. Analyze where you have been spending your energy lately. Are you worrying too much about what others think, outer circle, and neglecting your own actions and values, inner circle? Redirect. This visualization is powerful. Keep it in mind. When a worry arises, ask yourself, which circle does this fit into? If it's in the outer one, consciously bring your focus back to the inner or influence circle. The oracle. Do not disturb yourself by thinking of the whole of your life. Think only how each separate act is to be performed as becomes a human being. Marcus Aurelius. Focus on your duties, on your actions, on your circle of control. Day 7. Week review and first victories. Today is a day to look back. Reread your notes in the Clarity Notebook. What did you learn about yourself this first week? What were the biggest challenges? And very importantly, what were your small victories? Did you manage to pause before reacting? Did you question a negative thought? Did you feel a glimmer of clarity about what you can or cannot control? Did you identify a reaction pattern? Celebrate these victories, however small they may seem. They are the fuel to keep going. Rule 2. Daily consistency, continuous progress manifests here. You are building a new habit, a new way of being. And remember, Rule 1. Transformation is internal. You have already started working on the foundations. The external reflection will come, but the most important thing is the solidity you are building within. What did you discover about the origin of your pain? Were you able to separate fact from interpretation? These are immense victories. Oracle to close the week. Progress is not in enhancing what has been done, but in advancing toward what is to be done. Seneca. You are directing your future from now on with more awareness, with more power of choice. If this first week has already given you a glimpse of the power that resides within you, if you felt that spark of self-awareness, show me. Like this video, comment below on your biggest discovery about yourself this first week. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. Because the journey is just beginning and what lies ahead is even more powerful. We are in this construction together, and your feedback shows me that we are on the right track. Now we enter the second stage of our journey, week 2, the forge of resilience. If in the first week we awakened the inner observer and began to understand our patterns, now we will build the emotional armor, the ability not only to withstand life's blows but to use them to become stronger. Here, Rule 1, internal transformation, external reflection, and Rule 2, daily consistency, will be our guides. The Clarity Notebook continues to be your ally, and the Oracle of Concise Wisdom, your daily source of inspiration. Prepare to test your limits and discover a strength you didn't even know you possessed. Life will test you. Indifference will appear. The no will echo, but your response will be different. You will be different. Day 8. Premeditatio malorum, strategic. Negative anticipation. It seems counterintuitive, right, thinking about the worst. But the Stoics were masters of this, not to sink into pessimism, but to prepare and strengthen themselves. Today, in your clarity notebook, choose a future situation that worries you or causes you anxiety. It could be a meeting, a presentation, a difficult conversation, an attempt to reconnect with someone who ignored you. Now visualize everything going wrong, the worst possible scenario. Don't be afraid to go deep. Does she completely ignore you? Do you stutter in the presentation? Does the conversation become a disaster? Detail it. Feel the discomfort, the shame, the frustration. But don't stop there. For each negative aspect you visualized, ask yourself, 1. How likely is this really to happen? Often our catastrophic mind inflates probabilities. 2. If the worst happens, how can I deal with it? What internal resources, your calmness, your ability to learn, your dignity, and external resources, friends, other opportunities, do I have? 3. What can I do now to prepare myself and minimize these risks or their impact? Perhaps better prepare. Your arguments, practice your speech, or simply accept that the outcome is not 100% under your control and focus on your attitude. The goal is not to be pessimistic, but rather to mentally prepare yourself, reduce the fear of the unknown, and increase your confidence in your ability to deal with adversity. It's like shock training for your mind, a vaccine against despair. You face the monster in the dark of your mind, and it loses its power. Oracle of the day. He who fears suffering is already suffering because of fear. Montaigne, influenced by the Stoics. Anticipating and preparing reduces the suffering of fear because you have already looked the worst in the eye and seen that you can survive. Day 9. The obstacle is the way. This is one of the most powerful phrases in Stoicism, popularized by Marcus Aurelius. Today, identify a real obstacle in your life, something that is preventing you from progressing, whether internal, a specific fear, a habit of procrastination, a limiting belief about yourself, or external, a concrete difficulty at work, a complicated relationship. In the Clarity Notebook, write about this obstacle in detail. Feel the frustration it causes you. Then, take a deep breath and reflect. How can this obstacle actually be an opportunity in disguise? An opportunity to learn something new about yourself or about the world? To develop a new skill you wouldn't have otherwise sought? To practice patience, creativity to find solutions, the courage to face discomfort? How can you use this challenge to strengthen yourself, to become wiser, more resilient? Try to reframe the problem. Instead of, I can't because of this, think, how can I use this to my advantage? What is this trying to teach me? Often the biggest barrier is our perception of the obstacle, not the obstacle itself. Oracle, what stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. Think about this deeply. The very block shows you where to go, what skill you need to develop, what weakness needs to be transformed into strength. The rejection you suffered. Perhaps it is the way for you to build an unshakable self-esteem that doesn't depend on external approval. Day 10. Detachment from results. Focus on effort. How many times have you felt devastated because something didn't turn out as you expected, even though you tried your best? That project that wasn't approved, that person who didn't reciprocate, that goal that wasn't achieved. This happens because we are excessively attached to the result, something that, as we saw in the dichotomy of control, is often not 100% in our hands. There are countless external variables. Today, the exercise is to practice conscious detachment. Choose a task or goal for the day. Clearly define what your best effort is, what is under your control, your dedication, your preparation, your attitude, the quality of your execution. And then, consciously, surrender the result to the universe, to fate, to whatever you believe in, or simply to the complexity of life. Do your best and release the need for a specific outcome. In the Clarity Notebook, record how this experience was. Was it difficult, liberating, anxious? The focus is on the excellence of your action, not on the reward it may or may not bring. This frees you from immense anxiety and allows you to act with more freedom and integrity. If you did your best with the right intention, you have already won, regardless of what happens afterward. Oracle, the worth of a man is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Marcus Aurelius. But we can add, and the worth of his actions, of his effort, regardless of the immediate result. The true reward is in the process, in the growth, in the man you become as you dedicate yourself. Day 11. Practicing selective indifference. The Stoics spoke of things that are indifferent, neither good nor bad in themselves, such as health or sickness, wealth or poverty, reputation or obscurity, pain or pleasure. What matters is how we use these things, how we react to them, and whether they help or hinder us in living a virtuous life. Today, practice selective indifference regarding superficial external opinions. That criticism that isn't constructive, but just poison spewed by someone unhappy. That compliment that inflates the ego without substance, coming from someone who barely knows you. Try to observe them as neutral events, like the sound of the wind. Did someone praise you excessively? Thank them courteously, but don't let it send you to the moon or make you dependent on that validation. Did someone criticize you unfairly or maliciously? Coldly analyze if there is any useful grain of truth. Sometimes even enemies show us flaws that friends ignore. If not, dismiss it. Don't let it sink you. Don't waste your energy dwelling on it. In the Clarity Notebook, note the situations where you managed to practice this indifference and how you felt. It's not about being cold or apathetic. It's about being selective about what you allow to disturb your inner peace. It's protecting your inner citadel. Oracle. If someone tells you, that so-and-so spoke ill of you, do not defend yourself. Respond only, he certainly ignores my other flaws, otherwise he would not have mentioned only these. Epictetus. What a level of self-confidence, humor, and detachment from external opinion, huh? That's mastery. Day 12. Amor Fati, loving your fate. This is heavy but deeply transformative. Amor Fati, a Latin expression popularized by Nietzsche, but with roots in Stoic thought of acceptance, means loving what happens, whatever it is. Not passively or resignedly, like a lamb going to the slaughter, but actively embracing your reality, including the challenges, the pains, the losses, as if you yourself had chosen every detail of your path. Think of something difficult that happened in your life, something you still resist, regret, or resent. That specific rejection, that loss, that failure. In the Clarity Notebook, try to find one positive thing that emerged from it. A lesson learned, a strength you developed because of it. A change of course that looking back proved beneficial in the long run. It's an exercise in perspective and finding meaning even in adversity. It's not about liking the pain itself, but about accepting that it is part of the tapestry of life and can be a catalyst for growth and wisdom. It's saying yes to life, with everything it brings. Oracle. Do not ask that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will be happy. Epictetus. This is the heart of Amor Fati. It is a dance with reality instead of a constant struggle against it. Day 13. The voluntary discomfort test. Stoics like Seneca and Cato practiced voluntary discomfort to strengthen the mind and body and to appreciate more what they had in their daily lives. They dressed in simple clothes, ate little, slept on the ground, all to desensitize themselves to difficulties and reduce the fear of loss. Today, choose something that takes you slightly out of your comfort zone, but is not harmful or dangerous. It could be taking a cold shower. Start with a few seconds at the end of a warm shower. Skipping a meal, if your health allows and it's safe for you, consult a professional if in doubt. Going a whole day without social media or without your phone for a few hours. Doing that physical workout you always postpone. Initiating a conversation you fear. The goal is to experience discomfort and realize that you can handle it, that it doesn't destroy you, that you are stronger than you think. And as a bonus, you start to appreciate comfort more when it returns. In the Clarity Notebook, describe the experience. How was it before, the anticipation, the fear, during, the sensations, the thoughts, and after, the relief, the pride, the learning? What did you learn about your own resilience and willpower? Oracle. Difficulty strengthens the mind, as labor does the body. Seneca. Face these small discomforts as training for life's big challenges. Day 14. Resilience Week Review. Another week is gone. A week of forging. Reread your clarity notebook. How do you feel about last week? Stronger, more capable of handling adversity? Did the practice of premeditatio malorum help you face your fears with more preparation? Were you able to see any obstacle as a path, an opportunity? Did you practice detachment from results, focusing on your best effort? Were you able to apply selective indifference to empty opinions? Did you perhaps even flirt with the radical idea of amor fati, of loving your fate? What were the most challenging and most revealing moments of this week? Remember Rule 2. Daily consistency, continuous progress. Every small step towards resilience counts. Every time you didn't let yourself be defeated, every time you got up after a fall. And Rule 1. Transformation is internal. This fortress you are building, brick by brick of resilience, is what will begin to shine outward, subtly but powerfully. If you are feeling this strength growing, this ability to take the hit and move forward with your head held high, give me a sign. Like this video, share it with that friend who also needs this message of strength and overcoming. And comment here. What was the biggest challenge you overcame this week, even if it was an internal challenge, a battle against your own demons? Your story can inspire others who are going through the same thing. Let's create a chain of strength. Here. Now we enter the third phase, the third week of this transformation journey, cultivating inner strength and magnetic serenity. If in the first weeks we focused on observing the mind and forging resilience, now we will delve into building the Stoic virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, not as abstract, dusty concepts from old books, but as living, pulsating, active qualities that, when cultivated daily, not only make you a better man, a man of substance, but also emanate an energy, a serenity, a quiet confidence that is naturally attractive. Here, Rule 1. Internal. Transformation, external reflection, becomes even more evident, as the virtues are the very essence of the character that reflects outward. The Clarity Notebook will be your cultivation ground, where you plant the seeds of virtue and observe their growth, and the oracle of concise wisdom, the fertilizer for these virtues to flourish with vigor. Day 15. Practical wisdom, phronesis, seeing things as they are and acting accordingly. Stoic wisdom, or phronesis, is not about accumulating encyclopedic knowledge, but about applying knowledge to live well, to make good decisions in the here and now. It is the ability to discern what is truly good, virtue, acting correctly, bad, vice, acting incorrectly, or indifferent, health, wealth, reputation, etc., things that can be used for good or ill. Today in your Clarity Notebook, reflect on a recent decision you made that didn't have a good outcome, or a current situation where you feel confused about how to act. Analyze it through the lens of practical wisdom. Did you act based on fleeting emotions, anger, fear, impulsive desire, or on solid, rational principles? Did you consider all relevant information and long-term consequences, or just immediate relief or pleasure? Did you confuse something indifferent, like the need for social approval or the fear of rejection, with something truly good, like acting with integrity and courage, even if it displeases someone? The goal is to learn to make decisions more aligned with reality, with reason, and with your deepest values. Ask yourself, what would be the most virtuous action here? The wisest, most just, most courageous, and most temperate? Oracle. The first and best victory is to conquer self. Plato. Strong influence on Stoicism. Conquering yourself begins with understanding yourself and the world with clarity, and acting based on that clarity. Wisdom is the compass. Day 16. Justice, dikaiosine, acting correctly with others and yourself. For the Stoics, we are social beings, parts of a larger whole. Justice, or dikaiosine, is not just about laws and courts, but about treating others with fairness, respect, honesty, and compassion, even when it's difficult, even when they don't deserve it, because acting justly is a reflection of your character, not theirs. It also includes being fair to yourself, neither demanding excessively nor allowing yourself less than you deserve in terms of self-development. Today, think about your recent interactions. Was there any situation where you could have acted with more justice or empathy? Perhaps you judged someone hastily without knowing the whole story, or failed to keep a promise, was dishonest in some small way. Or on the other hand, were you excessively hard on yourself for a mistake? In the Clarity Notebook, identify a small action you can take today to repair a past injustice, a sincere apology, a retraction, or to actively practice justice. Listen to someone more attentively and without judgment. Offer help to someone in need. Defend someone being treated unfairly, or be kinder and more understanding of your own flaws while seeking to improve. Remember, how you treat others is a direct reflection of your character, and a just, upright character is incredibly attractive because it conveys trustworthiness and security. Oracle. What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee. Marcus Aurelius. Our actions affect the whole, and acting justly benefits everyone, including ourselves, as we live with a clear conscience. Day 17. Courage, Andrea. Facing fear, pain, and difficulty with principle. Courage, or Andrea, is not the absence of fear. The courageous feel fear like anyone else. The difference is that they act despite the fear, because something more important is at stake. A principle, a value, a duty. It is standing up for what is right, even when it is risky, unpopular, or uncomfortable. It is enduring physical or emotional pain with dignity and resilience, without letting yourself be defeated. Today, identify a fear that paralyzes you or an uncomfortable situation you have avoided out of cowardice. Be honest with yourself, without self-punishment, just observation. It could be the fear of rejection that prevents you from approaching someone, the fear of failure that prevents you from starting a project, the fear of conflict that prevents you from having a necessary conversation. In the Clarity Notebook, write about this fear. Describe it. What does it tell you? And then plan one small courageous action you can take regarding it today or in the coming days. It doesn't have to be something grand that causes you panic. It could be making that difficult phone call, expressing an honest opinion with respect and wisdom, taking the first step on that project that scares you, saying no to something that violates your values. Courage is built with small acts of bravery, one step at a time. Each time you act despite the fear, the fear diminishes and your confidence increases. Oracle. Courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength. Theodore Roosevelt, echoing the Stoic spirit. It is the decision to act aligned with your values even when every fiber of your being screams at you to retreat. Day 18. Temperance, Sophrosine, self-control, moderation, and balance. Temperance, or Sophrosine, is the virtue of balance, of self-mastery over our desires, appetites, and emotions. It is knowing how to say no to excesses, whether of food, drink, anger, laziness, procrastination, or even pleasures that in excess can lead us astray and weaken us. It is not about suppressing pleasure or emotion, but about moderating them, keeping them under the control of reason. Today, choose one area of your life where you feel temperance is lacking, where you tend to overdo it or lose control. Do you eat too much out of anxiety or boredom? Waste excessive time on useless distractions like social media or games? React with disproportionate outbursts of anger? Easily give in to laziness and postpone what is important? In the Clarity Notebook, set a small specific goal to practice temperance in that area today. For example, today I will eat only one serving at dinner and savor every bite, or I will limit my social media time to 30 minutes and use a timer, or when I feel angry I will take 10 deep breaths and step away from the situation before responding, or I will dedicate 15 minutes to that task I've been procrastinating on. Temperance gives you mental clarity, willpower, and preserves your energy for what truly matters. Oracle. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Temperance is the key to this inner mastery, to not being a slave to your own impulses. Day 19. The power of purpose and clear values. Virtues do not flourish in a vacuum. They need to be anchored in a greater purpose and clear values that guide your choices and actions. Without a strong why, it is difficult to maintain the discipline and effort required to cultivate wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Today, take some time for deep reflection, perhaps more than on other days. What is truly important to you in life? If you were on your deathbed, what would you be proud of? What are your fundamental, non-negotiable values? Honesty, continuous learning, family, loyalty, contributing to the greater good, freedom, creativity, etc. How do you want to be remembered by the people who matter to you? Write your answers in the Clarity Notebook. It doesn't have to be a perfect manifesto, but try to be as sincere and specific as possible. Having clarity about your values and purpose gives you a powerful internal compass. When your actions are aligned with your values and purpose, you feel an integrity, a congruence, and an inner strength that are magnetic. The indifference of others, the no's of life, lose much of their power over you because you know who you are, what drives you, and where you are going. Your validation comes from living according to these principles, not from external approval. Oracle. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Your values tell you who you want to be. Your daily actions, guided by virtues, lead you there. Day 20. The beauty of the serene soul, cultivating inner peace. Seneca wrote that true happiness is enjoying the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This is Stoic. Serenity, ataraxia, tranquility of mind, and apatheia, absence of disturbing passions, not apathy but equanimity. It is not a euphoric, noisy, and fleeting happiness, but a deep, stable, and lasting peace that comes from living in accordance with nature and reason, accepting what we cannot change, dichotomy of control, focusing on what we can, our virtuous actions and choices, and finding contentment in the present moment. Today, practice mindfulness, attentive awareness, for a few minutes. Sit in silence, in a comfortable posture. Observe your breath entering and exiting. Observe your thoughts and emotions arising and passing, like clouds in the sky, without clinging to them, without judging them, just observing. Try to find that space of inner calm, that silent observer that exists behind the noise of the mind. In the Clarity Notebook, describe how this experience was. Was it hard to stay focused? Did you feel any moment of peace? Serenity is not something achieved once and for all, but cultivated daily through the practice of virtues, self-observation, acceptance, and attention to the present. And a serene soul, my friend, radiates a calm, quiet confidence that attracts, that comforts, that inspires others in a very subtle and powerful way. Oracle. The soul is dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Paint your soul with thoughts of virtue, acceptance, and serenity. Day 21. Virtue Week Review. We have reached the end of the third week, a week dedicated to cultivating your inner garden. Look at your Clarity Notebook. How was this immersion in the Stoic virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance? Were you able to practice them, even in small daily gestures and decisions? In what situations did you apply wisdom to discern better? Where did you act with more justice and empathy? When did you need courage and find it? How did temperance help you maintain balance? Did you feel more aligned with your values and purpose? Did you notice any glimpse of inner serenity, even amidst challenges? This character building is a lifelong work. Don't be fooled. But every conscious step, every virtuous choice strengthens you and brings you closer to the man you aspire to be. Rule 1. Internal transformation, external reflection, is in full swing. The inner fortress is increasingly solid, more beautiful, more authentic, and people are starting to notice, not because you are trying to impress, but because you are becoming impressive from the inside out. Your energy changes, your posture changes, your gaze changes. If you feel you are becoming a man of more value, a more upright man, a man more in control of himself, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share in the comments. Which virtue did you find most challenging or most rewarding to practice this week? Which one brought you the most clarity or peace? Your journey is unique, but we are together in this search for human excellence. And so we arrive at the fourth and final programmed week of this 30-day expedition, radiating the new essence, the power of authentic presence. In the previous weeks, we dug deep, cleared the ground, built solid foundations of self-awareness, forged resilience against life's storms, and cultivated the noble virtues that define a strong character. Now it is time to see how this profound, internal transformation naturally and effortlessly begins to manifest in the external world, to change the way you carry yourself, how you interact with others, and consequently, how others perceive and respond to you. Rule 1. Internal transformation, external reflection, reaches its peak here. The Clarity Notebook continues to be your companion to refine and consolidate your learnings, and the Oracle of Concise Wisdom, your constant reminder of the principles that brought you here. This week is not about learning new tricks of seduction, or manipulation, God forbid, but about allowing the man you have become, this stronger, wiser, and more serene man, to shine with authenticity. Day 22. The presence that speaks without words, posture and body language. Have you ever noticed how some people enter a room and, even before they open their mouths, command respect or attract positive attention? This is not primarily about standard physical beauty or expensive designer clothes. It's about presence, a presence born of genuine self-confidence, of the inner serenity you have been cultivating, of the congruence between who you are inside and how you present yourself to the world. Today, the exercise is about body awareness and posture. Observe yourself throughout the day. How do you walk? Head down, shoulders slumped as if apologizing for existing. How do you sit? Huddled, taking up as little space as possible. Do you avoid eye contact when talking to someone? Try consciously to maintain a more upright yet relaxed posture. Shoulders back and down, chest open, not artificially puffed. Out, head held high, gaze steady and direct, but not intimidating or aggressive. Occupy your space with calm confidence. Feel the difference it makes in your own self-perception. You will feel more confident and energized, and possibly in the reaction of others. In the Clarity Notebook, write down your observations about your usual posture and how you felt adopting a more aligned and confident posture. Oracle. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. Aristotle. Influence on Stoicism. Your physical presence is also a reflection of your internal habits of thought and feeling. A strong and calm mind is reflected in a strong and calm body. Day 23. The art of active listening and genuine connection. Remember the virtue of justice. Day 16, which includes treating others with respect, fairness, and empathy. One of the most powerful and often neglected ways to do this is through active and genuine listening. In a world where everyone wants to talk and be heard, the one who truly listens stands out. When you talk to someone today, make a conscious effort to really listen. Put away your phone, turn off mental distractions, make appropriate eye contact. Don't interrupt to talk about yourself or to already formulate your response while the other person is speaking. Try to understand the other person's point of view, their emotions, their needs, even if you don't agree with the content. Ask open-ended questions that show genuine interest and encourage the other person to elaborate. How did you feel about that? What led you to think that way? You will find that people are deeply attracted to those who make them feel heard, understood, and valued. This is not about pleasing or being passive, but about connecting on a deeper human level, building rapport and trust. In the Clarity Notebook, record a conversation where you practiced active listening and how it impacted the interaction and your own feelings. Oracle. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen more and speak less. Zeno of Citium, founder of Stoicism. Wisdom often manifests more in attentive silence than in incessant talking. Day 24. Elevated. Selective indifference, the power of assertive non-reactivity. We've already talked about selective indifference regarding opinions. Day 11. Now let's expand that to assertive non-reactivity in potentially tense social situations. You know when someone tries to provoke you, belittle you with a sarcastic or passive-aggressive comment, drag you into a useless argument or drama that isn't yours. The man you are becoming, strengthened by your inner citadel, doesn't take the bait easily. He observes the situation with the clarity of the inner observer, week 1, evaluates with wisdom, day 15, and chooses not to react impulsively, negatively, or defensively. He can use intelligent humor to disarm the situation. He can elegantly change the subject. He can set a clear and assertive boundary. I won't continue this conversation if you keep treating me this way. Or he can simply remain calm and unshaken, showing that the provocation didn't affect him. This is not weakness or passivity. It is power. It is showing that you are in control of your emotions and your responses, not the other way around. Today, if an opportunity arises, and they always do, practice this assertive non-reactivity. Note in the clarity notebook how it went, what strategy you used, and what the outcome was. Oracle. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury, Marcus Aurelius. Don't lower yourself to the level of the provocation. Maintain your dignity and inner peace. Day 25. Magnetic authenticity, being who you are without excuses and without arrogance. After all this internal work of self-knowledge, resilience development and virtue cultivation, you are more aware of who you are, your values, your strengths, and also your areas for continuous improvement. Authenticity is simply allowing this truer, more evolved self to shine through in your interactions, without unnecessary masks, without trying to be who you think others want you to be to gain approval. Express your opinions with respect and wisdom, not dogmatically or aggressively. Share your interests and passions with moderate and genuine enthusiasm without showing off. Be yourself, with your qualities and even your imperfections that you are working to improve with humility. People are attracted to authenticity because it is rare, refreshing, and demonstrates courage and self-acceptance. He who tries to please everyone all the time ends up pleasing no one truly, and least of all himself, living a life of empty performance. In the Clarity Notebook, reflect, in what areas of your life or with what types of people are you still wearing a mask? How can you be a little more authentic today in a way that is safe and constructive? Oracle. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt, echoing the spirit of self-acceptance and stoic dignity. Be yourself, with integrity and humility, and your worth will be intrinsic and unquestionable. Day 26. The value of selective and conscious vulnerability for deep connections. Being authentic and strong doesn't mean being an impenetrable fortress all the time, or pretending you don't have emotions or difficulties. That would be another mask. In appropriate contexts and with trusted people, close friends, partner, family, showing calculated and conscious vulnerability can, paradoxically, increase the respect, trust, and attraction others feel for you, in addition to creating much deeper human connections. Admitting a mistake with humility, sharing a real difficulty you are facing, without being a victim or seeking pity, but as part of your journey of overcoming, showing that you are also human, with your struggles and learnings can create a space for the other person to also feel safe to be vulnerable. This demonstrates strength of character, not weakness, because it requires courage and confidence in yourself and in the other. Today, think if there is any situation or relationship where an honest, appropriate, and well-placed vulnerability could strengthen the bond or resolve a misunderstanding. Use your discernment, practical wisdom, to choose the right moment, person, and way. Note your reflections and, if you act, the results. Oracle. To err is human, but to persist in error is devilish, and to forgive others and oneself is divine. Seneca. Adapted. Admitting mistakes and sharing learnings vulnerably is a step towards growth and more authentic connections. Day 27. The generosity that attracts, giving value without expecting anything in return. A truly strong, self-assured, and virtuous man is not focused only on his own needs and on receiving from others. He understands that he is part of a community and has something of value to offer. Be generous with your time, when possible, and appropriate, your knowledge, your attentive awareness, as in day 23, your emotional support, your encouragement, within your limits and your temperance, of course, so as not to burn out or be exploited. Offer genuine value to the people around you without the immediate or calculated expectation of receiving something in return. This attitude of abundance, of someone who has so much to give, not necessarily material things but human qualities, is incredibly attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who uplift them, to those who add something positive and constructive to their lives, to those who make them feel better about themselves. Think of a simple and genuine way to be generous today, without fanfare and without expecting recognition. It could be a sincere compliment, unsolicited help, sharing a useful resource. Record in the Clarity Notebook how you felt giving. Oracle, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Seneca, generosity not only benefits others but also enriches your own soul and strengthens your sense of purpose and connection. Day 28. Keeping the flame alive. Consistency beyond 30 days. This structured 30-day journey is coming to an end, but personal transformation and character cultivation are a continuous process, a lifelong path, not a final destination. Today, set aside significant time to reread your entire Clarity Notebook from the first day. See how much you have evolved. Recognize your progress, your overcome difficulties, your insights. What were the most important and impactful lessons for you? Which practices, which tools, which Stoic principles do you want to permanently incorporate into your life, into your daily routine? In the notebook, create a small personal maintenance plan or personal code of conduct. What will be your daily or weekly rituals to continue cultivating your inner fortress, your resilience, your virtues, your authentic presence? Perhaps a brief morning reflection, an evening review, regular practice of a specific exercise that helped you. Remember, Rule 2. Daily consistency, continuous progress. The goal is not perfection, which is unattainable and frustrating, but constant progress, a daily effort to be a little better than you were yesterday. Oracle. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus. Live these principles. Let your actions speak for you. Day 29. Celebrating the journey and the emerging new self. Today is a day to recognize, appreciate, and celebrate the man you have become throughout this journey. Not the perfect, finished man, as this pursuit is infinite, but the man in conscious construction, the man more awakened, more self-aware, more resilient in the face of adversity, more virtuous in his intentions and actions, more authentic in his expression. Look back at that echo of the door closing, at that pain of indifference that motivated you to start this journey. Does it still exist as a memory? Perhaps. But does it define you? Does it control you? Certainly not with the same intensity. You learn to observe it, to understand it, not to identify with it, and to transmute it into fuel for your growth. You built an inner fortress. Do something today to celebrate this journey and this new version of yourself. Something that brings you genuine joy, that reinforces your commitment to yourself and to your continuous development. It could be something simple like a walk in nature, a moment of gratitude, or something more significant to mark this transition. Oracle. Life, if well lived, is long enough. Seneca. And to live well for a Stoic is to live with purpose, virtue, and serene acceptance of what we cannot control, making the most of what we can. You are on the path. Celebrate that. Day 30. The reflection in the mirror, the inevitable attraction of the transformed essence. We have reached the end of the programmed 30 days. But as we said, it is just a new beginning, a new level from which you continue to grow. Look at yourself, not just in the physical mirror, but in the mirror of your soul, of your consciousness. Feel the difference. That emptiness that perhaps existed before, that need for external validation, has been filled not by external achievements or others' approval, but by self-knowledge, self-acceptance, self-respect, and the strength of your character built brick by brick. That desperate search for attention or affection has been replaced by a calm confidence, an emotional self-sufficiency that is not arrogant, but serene. And the interest of others? The magnetic attraction we mentioned at the beginning? If you honestly dedicated yourself to this internal journey, it is already happening, or will begin to happen more evidently. Perhaps subtly at first, a different look, a more attentive ear, greater respect. Perhaps more obviously, people seeking your company, your opinion, your presence. Not because you used tricks or manipulation techniques, but because you changed on a fundamental level. Your energy changed, your vibration changed. You became someone who respects himself deeply, who values himself, who possesses a serene strength and a palpable integrity. And that, my friend, is deeply, authentically, irresistibly attractive. Rule 1 has been fulfilled. The transformation. Was internal, and the external reflection is just the natural and inevitable consequence. And now? What happens now that these 30 days are over? The journey does not end here by any means. This is your new normal, your new operating base. Continue, using your Clarity Notebook as a tool for self-reflection and growth. Consult your oracle of concise wisdom whenever you need a dose of perspective and strength. Practice the Stoic principles in your daily life, in small and large things. Continue observing yourself, learning from your mistakes and successes, growing in wisdom and virtue. You have the tools, you have developed the mindset. You no longer need to fear rejection or indifference in the same way, because your primary validation now comes from within, from your own consciousness and your alignment with your values. You have become the rock, the center of your own storm. The storm may come, the waves may crash, but you will remain firm, anchored in your inner fortress. Remember, that door that closed in the past, that no that hurt so much, that indifference, that weighed like lead, were in fact the invitation to a much larger, much more significant journey, a journey inward to the core of your being. And by accepting this invitation and walking this path with courage and discipline, you not only found a way to deal with pain and rejection, you found the way to become the man you were always meant to be, in your fullest potential, unshaken, serene, authentic, and yes, as a natural result, deeply desirable, not for what you do to impress others, but for who you have become in your essence. This is true alchemy. This is your victory. Take this with you forever. Your fortress is built. Now live from it, radiate this new light. The world is waiting to meet the new you, the true you. And more importantly, you are waiting to fully live this new reality that you yourself created. Embrace it with all your strength. You deserve it. You earned it. Believe me, the power was always there, within you, dormant, waiting to be awakened. Now it has awakened, and nothing and no one can take it from you unless you allow it. Stay strong. The journey continues, and it is yours, only yours, and it is, and always will be, glorious. Continue to sculpt your masterpiece, yourself.